The Korvathi delegation arrived at the diplomatic station with their usual cold precision, their pale forms gliding through the corridors like living shadows. Ambassador Thrane's crimson eyes swept across the human negotiation team with barely concealed disdain. "The tribute," Thrane announced, his voice carrying the weight of centuries, "will be sufficient to maintain our non-aggression pact." Captain Sarah Chen of the Terran Diplomatic Corps kept her expression neutral, though her jaw tightened. The tribute stood behind the Korvathi ambassador, a woman of ethereal beauty, her skin translucent white, dark veins visible beneath like delicate artwork. Her silver hair cascaded down her shoulders, and her eyes held the hollow emptiness of the defeated. "This is Zara," Thrane continued, gesturing dismissively. "She has been problematic for our society. Sterile, unable to provide offspring, yet she persists in consuming resources. Consider her a gift. Your species seems to have an unfortunate tendency toward charity cases." The woman, Zara, didn't flinch at the cruel words, but Chen noticed the slight tremor in her hands. "The Korvathi Council has determined that association with humans might provide her with perspective on her worthlessness," Thrane added with what might have been amusement. Dr. Marcus Webb, the team's xenobiologist, stepped forward. His weathered face bore the kind lines of a man who had spent his life caring for things others had given up on. "I'll take responsibility for her." Thrane's lip curled. "How perfectly human of you, Doctor. Very well. She is your burden now." The transport to New Geneva took 3 days. Zara sat in the corner of Marcus's quarters, accepting the synth blood rations he offered, but saying nothing. Her file, provided by the Korvathi, was clinically brutal. 347 years old, genetically sterile due to a rare mutation, exiled from 12 different colonies for her inability to contribute to the continuation of the species. "You know," Marcus said on the second day, sitting across from her with his own meal, "I've been studying xenobiology for 40 years. Never met a truly sterile species." Zara's eyes flicked to his face for the first time. "The tests were thorough," she whispered. "Korvathi tests," Marcus replied. "Designed by Korvathi, for Korvathi physiology, based on Korvathi assumptions." For the first time, something flickered in her silver eyes. "What do you mean?" Marcus leaned back, his expression thoughtful. "Humans used to think a lot of things were impossible, too. We thought heavier-than-air flight was fantasy. We thought the sound barrier couldn't be broken. We thought genetic diseases were permanent." He smiled. "We have a saying. Impossible just means nobody's tried the right way yet." New Geneva's research facility was unlike anything Zara had ever seen. Where Korvathi science was coldly efficient, human research buzzed with chaotic energy. Scientists argued loudly in the hallways, breakthrough discoveries were celebrated with alcohol and terrible music, and failure was treated as simply another step toward success. Dr. Elena Vasquez, the facility's lead geneticist, took one look at Zara's medical records and snorted. "This isn't science, it's barely even guesswork. They tested her reproductive compatibility with Korvathi males exclusively." "That's their species," Marcus pointed out. "But look at these cellular structures," Elena continued, pulling up the scans on her screen. "Her reproductive system isn't damaged. It's just incompatible with Korvathi genetic markers. It's like trying to use a square key in a round lock and declaring that locks don't work." Zara watched the two humans discuss her case with growing amazement. No Korvathi scientist had ever spoken of her condition with such hope. Months passed. Zara found herself integrated into the research team, her centuries of accumulated knowledge proving invaluable. She learned to laugh at Marcus's terrible jokes, to appreciate Elena's passionate rants about genetic therapy, and to understand that humans viewed problems not as immutable facts, but as puzzles waiting to be solved. The breakthrough came during her 3rd month on New Geneva. Elena burst into the lab, datapad in hand, her eyes wild with excitement. "Marcus! Zara! You need to see this!" The scans were unlike anything in Corvathi medical literature. Elena's experimental gene therapy hadn't just repaired Zara's reproductive system, it had optimized it. The human approach of genetic compatibility enhancement had done what 3 centuries of Corvathi medicine had declared impossible. "How?" Zara whispered, staring at the confirmation of her pregnancy. Marcus grinned, his eyes misty. "Because humans don't believe in giving up on people. We believe in second chances, third chances, as many chances as it takes." Elena nodded enthusiastically. "Plus, we're really stubborn. It's kind of our thing." The news of Zara's pregnancy sent shockwaves through Corvathi space. Ambassador Thrain demanded her immediate return, claiming she had been contaminated by human science. The Corvathi Council declared the pregnancy an abomination that threatened their understanding of their own biology. But Zara, standing in the council chambers of New Geneva, with her hand protectively over her growing belly, spoke with a voice that carried new strength. "They told me I was worthless because I couldn't contribute to their continuation," she said, addressing the assembled human and alien delegations. "But humans taught me that contribution isn't about conforming to someone else's definition of value. It's about being given the chance to discover what you're truly capable of." Captain Chen smiled as she watched Thrain's composure finally crack. The implications were staggering. If human medical techniques could solve supposedly permanent Corvathi genetic issues, how many other impossible problems could humanity tackle? "The thing about humans," Chen addressed the stunned Corvathi, "delegation, is that we don't accept impossible as a final answer. We just see it as a challenge we haven't figured out yet." 6 months later, Zara delivered a healthy daughter, the first successful pregnancy in her genetic line in over a millennium. The child's eyes held flecks of silver and blue, a perfect blend of Corvathi heritage and human intervention. Dr. Webb held the baby in the hospital room, marveling at the tiny fingers that gripped his thumb with surprising strength. "What will you name her?" he asked. Zara smiled, her face radiant with joy that no Corvathi had thought her capable of experiencing. "Hope," she said simply. "Her name is Hope." And across the galaxy, 1,000 other species began to wonder if humans could accomplish the impossible. For one worthless alien woman, what else might they be capable of? The answer, as humanity had always known, was simple: anything.